Welcome to Wave Manga. I am Agent Manga, and by the title of the video, do I even really need to tell you what the video is about? You clicked the video, you looked at the title, but here it goes. It is villain factions. As my Doflamingo video and what I thought was my Kira video showed that I'm very into more villains in a series than the heroes. And I'm just gonna tell you about a lot of things I notice about villain factions, because I like them way more than the hero factions. So there are mainly three types of factions in anime. There are the ones ruled by fear, there are the ones ruled by respect, and the ones ruled by loyalty. Respect and loyalty, there's differences, but I'll get to those differences later. Now, the one out of fear. This is the most common one in anime, or any real series. It's basically the one where there's the guy on top who's really powerful, and the only reason that his underlings work for him is because they're afraid of their own, health. So, this type of faction is quite easy to defeat. All you need to do is defeat the main bad. Some examples of this are shown with Aizen. Aizen's like Arrancars from Bleach, the Upper Moon, the Moons from Demon Slayer, and the Kingdom of Muscle from Dr. Stone. It's the Empire of Muscle. So that's mainly the ones ruled by fear. It's mainly those who are on the top are the most powerful and all that. And I have to say that these ones can be these can be the most boring type, but they can also be the most interesting. So like a good example of a faction ruled by strength, but I enjoy, is the Arrancars from Bleach. This faction really does show, it explains why these people are just doing this because of Aizen. Aizen is shown to be ungodly powerful, so, okay, just by the characters that are shown that this is not going to work well together. If Aizen was out of the picture, this whole thing would fall apart. Characters like Grimmjow, Noitora, and Baragon, none of the Espada would work together. None of them. The only reason that they are even working at all together is because of Aizen. And if they would have the chance, they would rip out his heart and kill him in a second. In fact, if they thought they could even take him out for a second, they would. And Holos are the type of creature that would take out their opponent, would take out somebody quite easily. But it's just shown that, just by showing that a faction is just stitched together because of it being so powerful, can easily hype up that being. And just showing, like Aizen, he is the ultimate troll. So, now, there's so many generic ones about the ones ruled by fear, let me think. I'm having a blank, but it's mainly just those generic anime, having, Demon Lords and Konosuba, all that. It's just a whole bunch of stuff. There's a whole bunch of stuff that just this person's really powerful, so he rules. It's just that generic thing. Okay, and next one is respect. There's two types of one you can have with respect. The first one with respect is just the bad guys could have a front of being good, and the people who work for the bad guys don't know that they're working for the bad guys. They could think it could be a charity organization, or they could just I'll get into, it's just the main villains have a front that they are good guys. So that's a way you could do it, and there aren't many factions that are shown in anime, but it is shown that they do have an outside of a good faction, but they're actually secretly bad. This is also one that can be easily dismantled, because if most of the people who work for the villains don't know that their bosses are evil, and when they find out that their bosses are evil and trying to take over the world, they basically think, oh, I didn't join to be evil, so they just leave the faction, which can easily be fallen apart. So that is quite an easy way to fall apart. And now we get on to the second type of respect faction, is that the guys that know that the group is bad, but they see an ideal in the group that they want to help and flourish. Like say, in My Hero, the League of Villains is basically built on the idea of Stain, or the Paranormal Liberation Front is built on the idea of freeing heroes and villains. It's freeing quirks and making it basically the strongest quirk on top. So that's basically it. And the Akatsuki also had like, I'd have to say the Akatsuki very loosely, because they were all basically both. They were a part of the fear of the strong, and some of the members joined because they wanted to make a perfect world, except basically none of them knew the true information. I have my problems with Naruto. It still has a good place in my heart, but I'm sorry. It's like the first true anime I watched, so I can nitpick it, but it'll always be like in one of my favorite animes. I don't know, it's just one of my favorites because it was the first real anime I watched. So I get that, it's pretty good. Like the Akatsuki are built together because of fear of the pain, Madara or Obito, whichever one is on top at the moment, or they do kind of want to have peace. Like they collected the the tail beast. That could make a great weapon. I'm just saying I think that they could fall into both. Now, time for the loyalty one. Now, if you're wondering what the difference between loyalty is and respect is, it's just like respect is just like something that somebody earns, that you can earn from somebody. Like you feel like you could follow them. It's hard to explain, but it's more like it's easier to break than a loyal faction. Like a loyal faction is, say, the Britannian Empire in Kogios. It's just like they're loyal. It's just like it's mainly like people who have been around for centuries, like these empires. Like many of the people believe in this because that's all they've known. It's just like that's just all you know. So there's just like it's sheer loyalty. It's like all you know, and if these people question it, like it's normally shown in like empires of evil, like the evil empire, like Star Wars and all that type of stuff. Lots of people, like I love like loyal factions, like people who will literally throw themselves on a spike just for like the higher ups. That is loyalty. Now it's easy to do it bad, but if say a culture who's believed in one thing and has only been taught this for a long time, that is very hard to break. So that is the most loyal. Say you have 1,000 years, like this empire, like I know I'm just, like a good one is like from Fairy Tail, the final faction, like Zeref's army, like of, I forget the name of the place, it's been a while since I watched Fairy Tail, but this guy literally made an entire empire over hundreds of years. Like, he was literally their monarch. They literally didn't question him. Oh, sorry for saying literally a lot, but there's no questioning him. There's no shred of doubt in these people. And that's what I love. Like, you can have like this main villain who could be immortal, or just have like this love of the people. Like, people don't actually think that these people are bad. Like, it's hard to justify sometimes doing this. Like, other ones is like the world government. Like, they rule the whole world, or nearly the whole world, and they have a huge military, but some people are just fanatical to the end, and some do understand some stuff, that the world government ain't the greatest, but still, you got everything else. You have years of brainwashing. It's just like that 900 years worth of brainwashing. So, I do not blame the Marines or anybody who believes in absolute justice. I'm just saying that they probably didn't have a choice. They probably were raised like this. And nature versus nurture. Like, even loyal factions could, like, have rebellions and all that. But it's normally just, like, the majority of people, like, they have more resources and all that type of stuff than any other villain faction. You can't really, like, you could do the same things with fear factions, but, or, like, respect factions, but there's still a limit. But this is the easiest way to have the most loyal subjects, and and it's really hard for people to just dissolve it. Like, I cannot say bad things about villains. My favorite thing in all of anime are villains. If they're done well, that would make a perfect story. Like, villains can be bad and generic, but you need to have good villains. Something I'll praise My Hero for: perfect villains. Like, they always are good. And then there's still some heroes, it's just like, villains can make or break a story. Or they don't even have to be villains, they can just be antagonists. But I just can't say anything bad if I see something good and it may be generic as hell, the faction, like it's this almighty guy who just rules over everything because of his sheer power. That's fine, as long as you do it well. Like, somebody can just screw all this stuff up, and you can make these guys just be scumbags. You don't have to like them, but you can respect them as a villain. That is how you do a villain. You can hate villains. You can really hate them. You can be sympathetic for them. But villain groups can be amazing. I plan on talking about villain groups in, like, anime. I really want to talk, like, about the Espada from Bleach, because that is an amazing villain group built on fear. Like, Aizen is just shown to be fear. I just love this. I just love villains. And this is Web Manga. I am Major Manga. Like the video, subscribe, press the bell notification if you want to do that, and share this with a friend. I need some help. So, have a nice day. This is Web Manga. I'm Major Manga, signing out.